Well, hello, Masterpiece Women. I hope you're doing wonderful today. Tina Raines. I'm the host of our Masterpiece Women podcast and community. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. We want to make sure that we get as many videos out to you so that you can just have lots of value added to your life. So today, we're very blessed to have Jen Springer here today. How are you doing, Jen?
I'm great, thank you. We're up here in the north and our temperature just dropped 40 degrees in an hour or two.
So, oh my.
Yeah, so yeah. 47 degrees. Woo! On goes the fluffies.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so as I'm sitting across from the lake and it's beautiful 80 degrees here. So in Florida. Anyway, so Jen Springer, I connected with her a few weeks ago and thought, you know what, I just love this woman. Like you're so personal. I can see why you've done so well in business. And I thought, what a great value you could add to the Masterpiece Women. Masterpiece Women, most of us are entrepreneurs and we're looking for ways, especially in this economy, to really change things. So I would love to start with first, who is Jen? Tell the women a little bit about yourself. And then I would love for you to, we'll dive into some of your expertise because you've got a lot of it.
Well, thank you so much, Tina, for having me on here. And kudos to you too. I mean, you've done so many things. You've been so successful. And then passing this on to other women, I feel strongly that we have to help each other and help others this way. And we can maybe share some things with people that can shorten their time of learning some of those hard school obnoxious things, but you know,
absolutely, it's right? Hard. Our mistakes. Learn from our mistakes.
Oh, well, does everybody have about 4 hours? So, you know, I think I was born an entrepreneur, honestly. Like, I never fit in the box of anything. Like even starting as a kid in grammar school, I was always a rebel. And I think that rebels are leaders. Like we don't want to fit in the confines of a mold. We usually got in trouble or maybe arrested. I'm just kidding. As a teenager, you know, you're doing
I didn't check her background. Sorry, ladies. No, really?
Right. No, I've got a rap sheet. No, but like even as a kid, you know, I was a rebel, right? You know, I had all the piercings and the black hair and, you know, like I was always never fit in the mold. And I think looking back, it was because I always had that go the opposite way, you know, entrepreneurial spirit. You know, looking back, that's really what it was. And so my mom and my grandmother were always encouraging of myself and my sister and my brother to do whatever we wanted to do. And I saw my dad working corporate his whole life, giving his life to a company. And then eventually at the end, you know, of that company's life, they sold and he was the last man standing. He asked everybody, you know, they were going to keep him on as they always promised. And of course they got rid of him once they transferred everything over. And I saw my dad in his late 50s now searching for another job as an executive. And I just remember that's not ever going to happen to me. And, you know, he helped me incorporate my first company in 1994. And I had just been out of college a couple of years. And so it was always instilled in me, probably because I was always the rebel, you know, like it's like I couldn't see myself retiring from corporate. I just could never see that there. And there was always that itch to do my own thing. And I've had many businesses. I started out with designing horse equipment and importing it from England, like literally going to England and talking to saddle makers, all the way to building a network marketing business and now doing coaching. I've done so many different things. And everything leads to the next thing. That's what's amazing. No matter what you do, it always opens the door for the next thing, even when you think it doesn't. Like you're in college and you graduate, then you get a job that's not related to your degree and you're like, this doesn't make sense. I know you as a nurse, you know, like, how did I wind up over here? But it all led to the next thing. And then you can bring all this value to people. And that's what I love about being a coach, because I could pull all this random stuff from my experience to help people. So, and now I primarily do coaching to help people with, especially with advertising, because it's such a big thing for people. They, you know, in the old days, we used to call and get the name in the yellow pages or in the Sunday.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you, Jen, you've aged yourself twice now. And I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, she is my age. I started my first company in 1994. Actually, end of 94, beginning of 95, we launched it. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's my age. Yeah. We remember telephones and we remember yellow
Do you remember when we had cords on our phone, you know, and with the brick phone? But, you know,
I would like, if you remember and you're watching this video, comment down below.
Yeah.
I remember.
The brick phone, your cords. We used to go to turn the dial on the phone. But what I think is so interesting with people that are our age is we've seen, and this is my specialty actually in what I coach, we've seen this other way of building a business where we had newspapers and magazines and radio was like really big, and you know, wow, you're doing radio. And then we had the beginnings of this internet thing, and work now coming over here when print media really is not the primary way to promote anymore. And so we're straddling these two different things. I don't, want to say ages, but it's really how the market has evolved for a business owner. And a lot of business owners, they don't know how do I take what I used to do and the yellow pages and all this other, and how do I bring it online? And we're in a world that I think is fascinating to me to witness. Like, I feel like I've lived multiple lifetimes, because we're in the middle of this big change that's happening so fast, it seems like.
Wow. And I think about back in those days when you started your company, and I was the same. We had just gotten computers. We didn't even have cell phones. I remember driving. I had a healthcare staffing company. I'm going to go work at a hospital, and it's like an hour or two away. And I bought one of those big boxes, and I was in the know now because I had that big cell. But you didn't want to use it because it was like $3 a minute.
Right.
I was like, I don't really want to use that. And I think about where we're at now, and with AI, and
I know
everything is changing and evolving again. And so that's why I thought it'd be such a great value for you to come on with us and, share a little bit about what you're seeing in the current marketplace, Jen. Like, what are the things that are working that you see? And obviously, ladies, Jen does this for a living. She's a coach. She helps small businesses primarily, but does all build their businesses primarily with advertising. And so she's your guru. If you have questions, we're going to have all her links down below, her email, reach out to her. But I would love for you to, Jen, share a little bit about that with the ladies, like a few key things you're seeing.
What's so interesting, ironically, today we had a coaching session and somebody asked me about this AI stuff. And I said, well, it's really the product of good branding, because we've had AI for a while. And anytime, you would say, and I don't want to say it too loud because my phone will answer, hey Siri, or Alexa, or anytime your computer would suggest other ways of phrasing things. We've been using AI a long time. And so that, I still firmly believe if you want to be good in the space of business, don't chase trends. It's probably one of the biggest things. And become good at relationship building. No newfangled technology is going to replace relationship building and connecting with people. Because, I work with a lot of clients that would like to just build their business hands off on the internet. And I'm like, well, good luck with that. Because you still have to have that human touch, or the business will be very volatile. So, I encourage people to go back and read How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? And then we've got good old fashioned how to do copywriting. And I don't mean like get all weird and like learn about like being a professional at that, but learning how to write and to speak in ways, if you're a business owner, that will influence people to be curious or to reach out to you and connect with them as a human being. When you communicate on any platform or you're speaking in an audience, however it is in a meeting, if you speak to people as if they're the only one in the room or they're the only one seeing what post you're putting on the internet or email you're writing, and you're speaking right to them to give them value and build relationship, there is no computer right now that in AI that's gonna that's gonna trump that, because everybody wants that. They think it's gonna make their life easier, and they're kind of lazy, and everybody wants a magic pill. But truthfully, when you do the work and give that value and build that relationship genuinely, your business is going to be really solid, and you're going to get referrals, and you're going to get repeat business. And I've been online as a marketing coach for, oh my gosh, 7 years, going into 8 years soon, 2016. And I could tell you that the things will change on all the time when it comes to algorithms and platforms and this. But if you just put out really good value and good marketing and relationship truly to help people, and ultimately that leads to more business and referrals and all that, that's really the key. I teach old school stuff, even though we use advertising on social media platforms, but newfangled tricks, they last 5 minutes and then there's on to the next thing, And so I always say, just really focus on value and helping whoever your business helps.
Absolutely. It's watching for those pain points, right? Oftentimes we try to be everything to everyone. And I know that we were just talking about that before we came on. Like, it's interesting how when you get on social media and you're trying to build business, we almost get too scattered. And I can be guilty of that as well, because I have so many different ideas, and there's nothing wrong with testing them, right? And trying new things, see if this works. But what I find about AI is that when I do check it out, for me, I utilize it more to check my grammar, to make sure I don't. But then it tries to change everything, and then it sounds like a robot. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just wanted you to check my spelling and check, my grammar, so that because sometimes Word doesn't do that so well. Anyway, and it's so funny. I'm like, I don't want to sound like a robot. I don't want to sound like, and I think it does backfire, because I do think that when you use it, and I've tried it a few times, because people are like, oh, use it for your emails, use it for this. Well, it tries to transition it into something crazy. So there's benefits to everything, right? But I personally am all about relationships, and I feel like it takes away that personal touch. So I'm with you on that.
100%. And some of my really good friends are like big time copywriters, and they use it for ideas and, ideas to spring off of. And I don't let my clients use AI. I said, you have to learn how to communicate properly. Then if you use AI to generate a post or something, you can go back and make it good. And the other day, one of my clients showed me a text that she put together for her prospects. And I said, good Lord, lady. I said, I think going and having your annual rectal exam would be more enjoyable than responding to that. I said, because it was so painful. It was so awful. I said, that is the word. No, did you use AI for that? And she's like, yeah. I said, no. I mean, I immediately saw it was so not her voice. And it was like a robot, it was like Encyclopedia Britannica was like, the comical news compared to this thing. And I said, that is horrid. Like I did not mince words. And I said, please don't, until you master how to communicate by your own skill, then you can, and you get the response you want. In volume back when you put out an email to 1,000 people and you get back the response you want, and you understand why, then you can use that for ideas or to help you get a flow with something. Because when the copywriters are using AI and successfully, they make it sound like they're selling all these softwares and stuff. So you guys have to always remember that they're selling stuff. They're affiliating all these AI tools, okay, and they're making money off of it. But they're not telling you that they have expertly trained them over a period of months to sound just like them. And you have to have that skill in order to know how to train it. So I'm just like, just learn it, be good, be genuine, be authentic. And then if you start playing with that, do it on a spare time, or like you said, to check grammar, to spell, maybe brainstorm some headline ideas or whatever it is. But is to go with it. So many people are just cranking out content using it. And I'm like, it's painful. Like I said, you'd have more fun doing your annual medical exam than reading that.
I love it. Oh. That's hysterical. So what types of ads are you seeing like on Facebook and Instagram that are actually working? Because I hear from people all the time, well, I did ads, but they're not working.
Yes.
What is it that people are looking for? And is it different on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn? Can you share a little bit about that for us?
So people on LinkedIn, that are running ads, it's obviously business to business. LinkedIn is like Facebook 10, 15 years ago. Like, it's so dinosaur, in my opinion. Some people love it. They make great business over there, and good for them. Like, it's not my favorite place. It's just not. I'll end it there. I have stories, but I'm going to end them there. But Instagram is really video, and Facebook too. They're really rewarding the video because their competitor that's nipping at their heels is TikTok. And Facebook, aka Meta, which includes Instagram, does not want TikTok to overtake them. And they're nipping at their heels right there. So Facebook and Instagram, when I say Facebook, I'm usually interchanging it with Instagram, Meta platform, that they are really rewarding video. And I love the hardest thing with Instagram is the targeting for advertising is very difficult. There's not a lot of data that is pulled together and tracked on Instagram. So I love Instagram for really building brand awareness and, video, images, really cultivating them getting to know us. Personally, I don't have my stuff over there because I put 110% into Facebook. And that's one thing I'll say to a business owner. Don't feel you need to be everywhere. Be a few places really well. So pick your favorite platform and get really good at it if you want to build on social. Mine is Facebook. I watch cat videos on Instagram, and I'm so addicted. Cat videos and recipes and how to cook. But I'm the Rebel Jen. So if you want to see my horses, that's what's over there. I don't have any business posts over there, but I put 110% in on Facebook, and I've mastered it. So that's why we have such momentum on Facebook. Facebook is really the place where we can step back and truly build the relationships with people. People are spending, Instagram, when you're on Instagram, you're scrolling and you're looking and you're moving fast. On Facebook, you can write a longer post, right? You can put in a video, you can build more relationship. And whenever, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about building value. Your prospect is not looking to buy this cream, I'm just making it up, by the way, that's got glycerin and sesame seed and no preservatives and organic lavender. Like, that's pitching just what the product is. So if you've got, right, I'm the cheapest and the best this, or get your services that, we talked about it earlier, solve problems. What does your ideal client or prospect, what's going on in their life that is causing them problems? What's keeping them awake at night? What is stressing them out? What do you solve in their life that they're struggling with? And you write about that. You even write an ad about it. When your people, prospects, look at your stuff and they say, oh my gosh, Tina, you're in my head. You get me. Oh, you totally understand where I'm at. That's how you know you've gotten the marketing right. When you understand what they're going through, like how you were or I was when I was struggling, and what we can help them with. But we have to remember, what are they dealing with that they're looking for you? They're not looking for you're awesome, even though they are, but they're not directly seeking it out. They're looking to solve a problem. And then you come in and say, hey, I get you. I understand where you're at. These are your struggles. I've helped these people and I've gone through it myself. And let me show you some results of my clients. And this is, before and after, and look at this. And maybe I'm here to help you, maybe not, but I want to add to your life somehow if I can. And that is the best marketing, whether you do it through an ad, organic posting, however you do it, genuine, always thinking to help them, whether, like I say, in ads, I'm a huge person with ads because ultimately I don't have the desire to post my breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Facebook.
And are you doing it on your personal page or are you doing it on your business page?
Business page. Yeah. My personal stuff is locked down to the core. Like, people can't find me. I have another profile that the public sees, but my real stuff is locked down, and that's me. Everybody's got their own thing. There's a lot of people. This goes back to be you and pick the platform and the identity that you love. Some people love to use their personal profiles for business, and that is totally cool if that works for you and you love to do that. But, I see so many businesses that are confused, and they come to me and they're trying on this platform and they're trying this ads and they tried this guy stuff and that lady stuff, and they're over here on TikTok. And I'm like, why? Because I think I should be. I'm like, whoa. What do you want to do? Like, where do you like? Do you like videos? Do you like to write posts? Like, what do you want? And you get good at just a couple things. That's when you're going to pick up the momentum. And then you can hire staff to handle the rest of it later, like to be on other platforms. But you got to really you got to get momentum somehow. We say nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. And when you really pull into one and become an expert or really good at one thing, you'll get the momentum. Then you can start to get the success and the income, and then you hire staff to handle the rest.
Yeah, I have some really great young ladies from the Philippines.
Me too.
That were one of the missionaries that I worked with. It's their nieces. And so they're amazing. Yeah, I couldn't do so much of what I do without them, because I'm all about delegation.
That there's a really good book by one of my favorite people. Many people, who listen, you may have heard of Dan Kennedy. He's like the OG of marketing, especially direct response marketing. He did all the proactive commercials and all this stuff. And so Dan has got a book called where is it? It's No BS Time Management. Here's a book over here of his, No BS Marketing to the Affluent. That's a good one. But No BS Time Management. And Dan's book goes into, he has you figure out what your time is worth. And like, if you figure out, at the time back when I did it, this was probably 7 years ago, my value is I figured all the time I put into my businesses, I was like at $250 or $400 an hour. I don't remember. And every time somebody starts to waste your time, or like you said, can I hire somebody so I can be working 1 hour, but I've got people doing other stuff. So I'm really working 3 hours in 1 hour because I'm giving people tasks that they're probably even better than I am at. And that's truly the way to leverage growth. I'm interested. I don't know if you've listened to another person, Dan Sullivan, and Ben Hardy might be the last name. Sorry, Benjamin, if it's not the right last name. But Dan Sullivan's got a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X.
Oh, you know what? I read that.
It came out.
Audible or
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell me again, on the first one was Dan
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The No BS Time Management. He's got like the No BS series. They're all amazing. He's very dry and he's very good and he's a master at what he does. And he's really about entrepreneurism and helping people, crush it. And,
Nice.
but the time management thing, I believe is probably, I don't know what you think, Tina, but I think that the time management balance and is, I think, one of the most challenging things an entrepreneur deals with. Where to spend my time, when to not, when to delegate, when to take on, when to take a vacation, when to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Because I think it's one of the greatest
100%.
things.
I can tell you that I've done, with Masterpiece Women, we do the group coaching. I also have done executive coaching and consulting for businesses myself. And I typically deal with the, CEO of a company or the business owner or an entrepreneur. And every single one of them who were struggling, their biggest issue, well, two. One was their mindset. Even though they were successful, they were still dealing with, I'm not good enough. So they're all performance based. And then the second thing was time management. So I actually created a hour by hour checklist where I typically will have my executives write down their week, every single hour for a week. So they can evaluate and then score themselves on what their goals were for the day. And, we start on Sunday, I have a weekly, planner. Okay, this is our goal for the week. And for each day, you're going to write out what the goals were attached to those key goals. Everything else you're going to take off your calendar. And can I tell you, 90% of them could not fulfill their goals on a daily basis because they got distracted doing 10 other things. And that was something that I spent, like one individual, I spent months with her, just with her time management, because it was killing her. And I can be that way. So I think I get her because I'm such a visionary and I have all these great ideas.
I know, right?
With all these ideas. But the implementation is not my gifting. And so if I start taking on these tasks, and sometimes out of curiosity, or my VAs are in the Philippines, so instead of bothering them, or my daughter does a lot of my social media as well, and she has a real job during the day, so I don't want to bother her. So I'll just start doing stuff myself. And then suddenly it's 3 or 4 hours later, I'm like, why did I just
happened?
do that? Yeah. And it's so non-productive. And so I think that's the two key elements when building any business: your mindset and time management. Everything else you figure out.
Yes.
Everything else.
It's funny you say that, because that was actually the theme. Like I had my clients this morning coaching, and that was the theme. It was about, I talked about mindset and time management. And every day there's 100,000 things that are going to try to pull you away from the things you need to do to achieve your next goal in your business. Like between somebody getting sick, or a death in the family, or moving, or maybe the dog did something on the carpet, or whatever, your car broke down, or, I got an email from a client this morning. They didn't come to coaching because their dryer broke. I'm like, so the dryer broke was more important than your business goal. You just told me your dryer is more important than your business. Mm-hmm. So like, this is exactly, you're so exactly right. And I've come up with something, I've been saying it a lot in the last week to kind of reinforce what you're saying. Your subconscious mind believes everything you tell it, good and bad. And if you say, I'm not techie, I'm not a good leader, who am I to stand on that stage being invited to do a keynote? Even if you think the thought, your subconscious mind is like, got it.
Accepts it.
Whoa, right in there. And so then everything you go from there, you're acting from a state of disempowerment. And, when I'm working with clients and they often generate these ads, and these, people are responding, then they fall down about talking to these people. And I said, well, okay, so what's going on inside of you? Like, tell me, like, what's happening with you that this is happening? And so that subconscious mind is listening to everything, even if you're struggling that day and your computer with blue screen, it's like, okay, at least I got the support I need. You got to shift it, until we learn and we move to the next step. But it's sometimes, I think it's the two hardest things. Absolutely. The biggest opportunities for growth are the mindset and the time. They go together too.
They do because oftentimes you don't plan accordingly and you get distracted in other things because they feel more comfortable. You don't want to make the calls that you need to make because it's not comfortable. You don't want to stretch yourself in those ways. So if it comes easier to you, you tend to kind of gravitate towards it because you're avoiding the tough stuff. And I catch people doing that all the time, even with leading my team. My team, I'll talk to them. Okay, so how many calls did you do? What did that look like? How many events did you go to? How much networking did you do? Well, I really didn't do anything. It was a busy week and I didn't get out. And okay, then is this really important to you? Because I can tell you that if I weren't out connecting with people, if I weren't calling my friends and just making sure that I'm continuing relationships, not selling to everybody, but continuing building relationships so that if what I have to offer to someone is needed, then I have the opportunity to share it with them because it is a gift to help people. And changing your mindset from what I have is fixing somebody's problem, no matter what business you're in. Just like you discussed, what is the problem you're solving? And make sure that you're clear on how you can solve that problem. Jen, you're solving people's problems of how to build business and how to market them and how to do advertising. You have a solution and you're very clear. I clicked on your ad one time because I thought, oh, that's really good. I think that's how we connected. And you were trying to sell me and we sold each other. We're like, okay,
yes,
you better be friends.
Yeah, we're like kindred spirits. And the thing, I think there's one 4-letter word that absolutely needs to be eliminated from an entrepreneur's vocabulary. I'm sure you know. Do you know what it is?
Fear?
No. Well, that's another one. You said it, and I don't want to lead you down a path of, busy.
Busy. Yep.
Like, I'm all for cussing, all right? But busy is the 4-letter word that can squelch so many things, especially if you're leading a team. And I can tell you how it's bit me in the butt. So I've led a team of many thousand people in the past. And I thought when I was growing this business initially, I thought it was cool to be the super, super committed chick. I'm driving here and I'm driving there and I'm working late and I'm on the phone and da-da-da-da-da. And my busyness, and I would say to people, oh yeah, I'm so busy, but let's do this. And that busyness repelled a lot of people because they looked at me and they're like, I don't want to live like her. And it puts up a wall, and then you become less approachable, and people are like, oh, you lose a lot of opportunity because they think that you've got this like bubble around you of chaos, and that, oh gosh, get rid of busy. Busy, goodbye, and fear.
So true. Darren Hardy, I don't know if you ever follow him. I love his stuff. He talks about it being the devil's vortex. I actually stole that from him.
Devil's vortex, yes.
I loved it so much. Like, when he was doing the planning, he talked about how in time management specifically, if you have goals, everything on your schedule should go to meet those goals. Anything that's on your schedule that doesn't specifically get you to your goal, put it over here. It's the devil's vortex. It's really the devil trying to steal your prosperity. Think of it that way. And address it that way. And we were talking today, we're actually planning our retreat, which is November 2nd. For those of you ladies who haven't registered, we literally only have 5 spots left, and that's it. It's going to be amazing. And so I was on the phone with the speakers, and we're just praying and just excited about what God's doing. And we were talking about that busyness. Like, most of the women that come to our retreat, the reason they love our retreats is because they're so busy. They have no downtime, and we go deep, and we do some really cool stuff, but we also have a lot of fun. But they also have a long block of time just to disconnect, rejuvenate, and really regroup, because women aren't doing that. And not that men do either, but I'm all about the women. Sorry, guys. But, we've got to be more intentional to get rid of the busy. So I agree. That busyness is the devil's vortex.
I love that. It is so absolutely true. The best ideas, when we're growing our businesses, and we need fresh ideas to get to the next level and the next or the long-term vision, or how to solve problems. And I don't know about you, Tina, but the only way for me to do that is to quiet the noise in my brain and to unplug and to completely disconnect. And we need to play. We need to have fun hobbies. We need to go to the beach. We need to go out for just a nice dinner and the phones are left in the car, or whatever it is, because that allows, like, neurologically, the brain to go boom, and then the creativity comes up, and you see, oh, we need to do this, or oh my goodness, I got this other idea, or we should do this instead, or whatever thing. But you can't see that if there's all this chaos in the brain.
Yeah, it's so true. Taking that time for self-care, I'm so passionate about it. As a matter of fact, I work with some corporations specifically for corporate wellness, and when I'm doing some consulting, the reason that they're so passionate about helping their team is they care about their team. But the reality is, in this day and age, the stress level is off the charts.
Yes.
And actually, if you can decrease people's stress, increases productivity. Think about what stress causes. Every single diagnosis out there is exacerbated by stress.
100%.
So if you're so busy, you're not taking time for yourself, or you're not doing the things that improve your health. And just a plug, that's why I'm so passionate about my headset, just saying. But if we can decrease the stress, it doesn't just help the individual, it also helps the corporation. And so I think more and more, because they're seeing how their team members are not functioning at their top performers, their performance is coming down. They're too stressed. They're not sleeping. Used to be, work them 18 hours a day, and then we'll just go to the next one.
That was the way.
That's not healthy for anybody, and that actually costs us a lot more money. So let's do things a little bit smarter and take good care of our team. So I think it's so important. So I couldn't agree with you more, Jen.
Well, I think a lot of moms, that have families or people that are committed to a lot of things, they feel like, especially as women in general, like we feel selfish for taking that time to go to the spa or go out with a girlfriend and just have fun watching a movie and, drinking coffee, whatever your things are, walking on the beach by yourself. But really, truly, the most selfless thing you can do is take that time, because that you come back with you're just so refreshed, and you can contribute so much more to your family, to your faith, to your workspace, your business, whatever you've got going on. The best thing you can do is take what we would normally say selfish time, but it's self time, right? Yeah. So anyways.
100%. I remember a friend of mine, and she and her husband have been married like 40 something years. She says, when we first got married, every day, he's a doctor, he would go to the gym after work, and I'd get so upset with him because he took an hour to go to the gym when I felt like he should be home with me and the kids. I had worked all day. She was stay-home mom. And then she goes, down the road, when I grew up a little bit, I realized, man, I envy him for having those boundaries of self-care. It's still to this day, they've been married, I think going on 40 years now. And she's like, he's still in great shape. He still takes care of himself because he had that boundary of, if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of all of you, you know. And he was a great dad. He was a great husband, still is. And so I agree with you. Couldn't agree more. I catch myself, and I think this is pretty standard with us as a society. When I get busy, the first thing that goes is what? My self-care.
Yep.
Like, I don't make it to the gym. I don't do my walks. My favorite thing on this planet is go take my walk. I love to do a 4 to 5 minute, mile walk, like every day. Like, that's my thing. Used to be running. And now that I'm almost 55 in 2 days, I'm like, yeah, walking is good for me. But I caught myself last week getting too busy to go do my walks. I'm like, right. Yeah, no, I'm just not doing that. So it's, we have to be careful with that. So tell me, Jen, I literally could talk to you for hours. Tell us a little bit about a time when you struggled, when you were building business. Like, what would be that tip? I'm going to have you kind of combine two things in one for me. I believe that we learn the most when we share our failures, when we have a fail. Like, I've learned most of the things in business because I messed something up the first time. Talk a little bit to the women about what was that thing that really propelled you, that failure that propelled you to make a difference, and it changed your trajectory of your business, and how could they implement it in their life so you could help them prevent that one thing?
Well, it's so funny you ask the question, because I don't look at anything I've ever done as failure, but I'm really good at when I make my mind up to do something, I don't quit. And what happens is sometimes I push so hard to get to a goal that I wind up almost self-imploding. Like, I'm going to push with force. And, as you asked the question, I was reflecting on that. And I always think that when we see something and we're struggling, and, when you set a goal, it's not negotiable to get, to quit on the goal. I look at it that way. But, myself and my partner, Monty, he and I lived in a house in Fargo, North Dakota that had mold in it really bad. And I was at the peak of one of my businesses. I was at the peak of that business, and it was growing every month, record. And then I got taken out, leveled to my knees with mold exposure. And I thought, why is this happening? And what I always believed that there was a reason. I didn't look at, like, that business didn't fail, but it really, here I had been flatlined in that business for 8 years. I broke through, and I finally was record, a couple $1 million a year in sales and all this stuff. And then I get whacked down, and why? And so I look at that. I think it's really important for life when things happen, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, when something really hard happens like that. I couldn't physically go out and even work that business, even though it was still rolling without me. Is that what it did? And I always knew that I couldn't see, I knew something was coming good, but I was trying to survive through it, literally. But it forced me to then crack the internet stuff, because I was building the business offline and doing guerrilla style marketing locally, which I am a master of, even though I love the internet. And I think it's because then everybody's on a level playing field on the internet. And that's why I love it. And I love technology. But so I think that, even when we're struggling, or the rug is pulled out, or we have an appearing of failure, there's always, if we can look at it one or two ways. It's like, I knew there was a door coming, and I knew that I was going through absolute hell because something good was coming, and I couldn't wait for it to get here. But now looking back, that happened 10 years ago. And now I have, this 7-figure coaching business that I never dreamed in a million years. I'm working I still work hard, but I'm working much happier. And all of that struggle led me to learning. And so we look at when something's hard, like, how do we have to go and learn something different, or maybe add on the team, or ask for help, or hire, what perspective can we change to make that an opportunity? And that's really what that was. And I walked in faith into the next step, knowing that it was going to be good, even though I was trying to just make it through the day at that time. And that I believe is what led me to this. And because people could look at my business and they say, wow, she's so successful, and look at her, blah, 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 all these things. And I'm like, you have no idea like what has come to this point, because we always see the successful people and sometimes we don't see what's behind them. And I believe that the successful people, the ones that don't get to their goal, it's really this, what you and I said, the mindset thing, because we all are faced adversity. And like when I work with clients and they log into Facebook, and for some bizarre reason, Facebook shut them down that day, because Facebook does that. Yeah. And if they want to quit their business because Facebook get a glitch on them, I'm like, oh, let me tell you, we got to work on some things. And it's here. Because if something that small is going to get you to quit, what's going to happen when the big things really happen? So I think that, looking at the failure or looking at struggle like that, I really believe that how we look at struggles and defeats or things of that nature is the most critical thing that will lead us to success or quitting. I don't quit. And that's even my own mentors and coaches. They're like, Jen, you have more grit than anybody. The coach I've been working with, the gentleman that really taught me internet marketing, I've been masterminding with him since 2015-16, and I'm the only one that's still here with him. He's still got a lot of clients, but I'm still there every flipping week. Every week I am there with him, masterminding with him. He's like, you have more grit than anybody because you cannot quit on the goal. And you'll see the high performers, people that get to 7 figures, multi-7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, there is no option other than success. And when obstacles come, it's an opportunity.
Absolutely. I love that. It's interesting because I did not come from the MLM world at all. As a matter of fact, I kind of saw it a little bit as a taboo in the past. And I tried a couple little things, but I never really tried to really build something. I just thought, it'd be kind of fun to, help my friend or do this or whatever. And so I was reading a book recently, actually a couple of them, because I'm like, anytime you're doing something, you want to grow, you want to learn. And so the key thing that I took away from both of these books, and there was these, 8, 9, 10 figure earners, not 10, 9.
10 figures.
The maximum was 9. No, it wasn't either. It was 8. Anyway, I think it was 8. Anyway, whatever it was, they made a lot of money in the industry. And I'm thinking that 10 was the company. They just said 2 things. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. And so many people quit. And it always reminds me of the Think and Grow Rich book that I teach, that, when you go, you're just a couple of feet from gold. And it
yes,
quits,
yes.
And if people just stick to what they know and what their heart says and just keep on going, eventually it's going to work. You just have to tweak things. You have to, and it's like any business, because I've built a big business in the past. Can I tell you, it wasn't perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. But I didn't quit. And 20 something years later, and we had a lot of struggles because I was a 25-year-old kid that didn't know what on earth she was doing when I did that thing.
I mean, look back and went, wow, I was that. Yeah.
I know. Honestly, I was really proud of that girl. This is a kid, from a horrible childhood who didn't know what she was doing, who launched a business and was like, oh, wow. When my officers were going, Tina, we hit the $1 million mark today. I'm like, it was like surreal. But I know that I had to be persistent. But what I didn't do well was I didn't take time for me. I was too busy. back in those days. So your point on that and your point on having faith through the trials are my two takeaways for today, because they're so good.
You know, and I think too, for us seasoned individuals, I think that we've also seen a morph in the last decade as decades go on. The 80s and the 90s and even mid 2000s, you know, even till not that long ago, it was glorified to be overcommitted, overstressed, over busy, over whatever. Like it was a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And that's just how I was the same thing. Like that was a badge of honor to be all that. And now I think now that the society's flipping a little bit to being more aware about mental health and spiritual health and, you know, boundaries of time and self-care, I think that's really helped some of this really crazy stuff that we were working 20-hour days, right?
Oh, absolutely. I remember literally going and doing a shift at the hospital all night long, 12 hours, driving an hour home with no sleep, going to my office and working for another 3 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
picking up my kids and then going and taking a nap. How I did it, I don't know. I honestly don't. I look back and go, what were you thinking? So yeah, that used to be the merit badge of
right.
We do it all. We don't have
I'm
to do
Superwoman.
Exactly. I don't want to be Superwoman.
No, but that also comes into, I think, play with, you know, how we can see this perspective and helping people. I don't know if you feel that way, but where we can see this with people and help them, because we went through that and said, wait a minute, you know, let me share some of what I had to, you know, get over that or how to help them live a little healthier so they don't lose their health, their spouse, their property. And, you know, it's just like the country music song played backwards, you know, like all those things. You don't need to experience all of it, you know, like it's not fun to do that. It's not glorious. And there's ways to do it. And to even kind of back up right next to what you're talking about, you know, don't quit. You know, for people in business, the important thing is, you know, to not quit. But I'd also like to add is to keep moving your feet, to actively seek solutions. Because I see a lot of people that just keep showing up, but it's kind of like, well, what are you doing to get better at talking to your prospects or your ideal clients? Or what are you doing to become a better marketer, or to not be a toad, you know, in your personality, or whatever it is, you know, like what are we doing to be better and to show up better, to be better leaders and things like that? You know, what are you putting in your brain? What are you practicing every day? And when that action comes with that perseverance, I think that magical things happen and doors 100%. Open. Yeah.
That is so key. And that's such a great point, because there's a difference between just still doing it, but are you really doing it? Like I'll have people tell me, I'm building my business. So tell me what you've done this week to build your business.
I meditated and thought about it.
I thought about it. Seriously. And you're like, okay, but do you really want to build your business? Like, tell me, are you really interested in building your business? You have to have steps. You have to have actionable items every day that you're doing. So yeah, that's such a great point. So, well, Jen, thank you again. You are a wealth of knowledge. You're just a breath of fresh air as well. I just love your authenticity. That's really important to all of us Masterpiece women. And I'm going to put all your contact information down below. So thanks for being with us today. And Masterpiece Women, for those of you who have not signed up for our retreat, again, there's only a couple of spots left, so don't miss it. You'll want to be there. It's going to be incredible. Danielle Mioli, Joyce Romack, and Priya Ramsuran and myself are going to have an incredible weekend planned for you, and you'll have lots of downtime to hang out with the girls and just get refreshed as well. So you don't want to miss it. So I look forward to seeing you there. You guys have a blessed day, and don't forget to subscribe and press the little button, the little bell, so that you can hear when we get new videos. Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everybody.